The thing about the Frankenstein monster is it's an incredibly tragic character, and one that you feel a lot of sympathy for, because none of it was his choice. And again, in this movie, we get a character who, once again, is probably more of a tragic character than what the original monster was. So hey legends, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews, the show that loves all things entertainment and shares that love with you. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. Right, this episode, now we're going to get back into the Hammer box set for this episode. This movie is Frankenstein Created Woman from 1967. Finally, a Hammer horror movie. This one stars Peter Cushing as Baron Frankenstein. We've got Susan Denberg, Farley Walters, Robert Morris, Duncan Lamont, Peter Blythe. It's directed by Terence Fisher. This movie here, it's been a running commentary for me throughout the majority of the films in the Hammer box set, that a lot of them are hard work to get into. Slow burners. This one here, not so much. Absolutely brilliant. It starts out with a criminal being executed via guillotine, and it's witnessed by a small boy. We skip from then to, say, 12 years later. The boy's grown up and he's an assistant, kind of the assistant to the assistant of Baron Frankenstein. So at the beginning of the film, Baron Frankenstein I should say, has been thawed out of ice. He's trying to prove that the soul does not leave the body on the point of death, and that the body can be reanimated after a certain amount of time. So the film, basically, whenever he's introduced into it, his assistant opens up this massive big freezer, which is like the sort of cases where you put like bodies in a morgue. You open up the door and you slide out the tray and the bodies on it. Like, this is where he's at, but he's frozen in here. So they raise the temperature, give him a few blasts of electricity, whatever it may take, to get him kicked off again, and he awakes. That test is success, so he's Baron Frankenstein. Of course, it's going to go to the point where he's going to find a dead body and try and transfer the soul of one person into the other body. So the guy at the start of the film that witnessed the execution, turns out the victim, or the convict that was executed, was his father. So he's very much in the mindset that he doesn't want to end up like his father, but he does have that in the local town. He does have that kind of like black mark on his name, that he is the son of a murderer. Also, he's in love with this girl whose father is the proprietor of the local bar, but she's disfigured on the one side of her face, but he's in love with her. And throughout the film, different things happen. People are keeping her going about her, the way she looks and whatnot. There's these three guys, like upper crust sorts, that are coming into the bar, and they're kind of like, we want to be served by your daughter. Where's your pretty daughter at? And they're really like giving her a hard time about her scarred face. It's like she's been scarred from childhood, and this guy that works for Baron Frankenstein, he gets into a fight with these three guys, and yes, eventually leads up to, through different sets of circumstances, he ends up getting killed. He dies at one point in the film, and the girl, being completely heartbroken as the loss of the man she loves, throws herself into the river and kills herself. So during this time, Baron Frankenstein has gotten hold of the body of the young man that worked for him, and him and his assistant keep him to the one side, keep him on ice, and they discover that this girl has also died. So he comes up with the idea of transferring the guy's soul into her body, essentially. So the three guys that were tormenting the young girl at the start of the film are the targets of this new Frankenstein's monster, this girl with the soul of the guy that loved her. It is the thing about the Frankenstein monster is it's an incredibly tragic character, and one that you feel a lot of sympathy for, because it's not, none of it was his choice. And again, in this movie we get a character who once again is probably more of a tragic character than what the original monster was. So by the end of the film, Baron Frankenstein is trying to chase the monster down. He finds out what's going on. Like two of the three guys have been killed. By the time he gets to the monster, she is ready to take out the last guy, and Frankenstein chases her down to a river, and as pretty much she's figured out everything that's happened, can't live with herself because of what's happened, and again the monster version of her throws herself into the river once more, and that's where the film finishes off. Probably not the best review you're ever going to hear in your life, but there we go, and there we have it. This movie is, out of all of them so far in this box set, I think this is probably one of the best in the Hammer collection, and definitely it is. Peter Cushing in this is first rate as Baron Frankenstein, and just his interaction with everyone else and the chemistry between him and his assistant and all the characters in general in the film is brilliant. He's such a good actor, and definitely well worth having a look at this one.